Hey there, lovely people, and welcome to Messages from the Heart, where we can take some time out from the constant external noise and just take a moment to focus inward and listen to the quiet and ever-present voice of our heart. So the message for today is our body is listening to us. So last week the message was listen to your body, listen to our body, and how our body gives us feedback when we're off track, be that mentally, emotionally, physically, and being aware of what our body is trying to say to us, and and what that all means and why it was important to go deep with that. So today, the message is our body is listening to us every microsecond of every day. And I would like to just talk briefly about why I believe that's important, to go deep with that, why I believe it's important that we're aware of that, why would we want to be aware of that, and how can we become aware of that. So basically, and so I've broken this down very, very basically, everything that we think, everything that we say, everything that we hear, that we see, that we feel, creates an imprint on every cell in our body. So basically that's how our body is listening to us. An imprint is an energetic imprint is created with every thought we have, every word we speak, everything we see, everything we read, everything we take into our body, through our eyes, through our mind, everything we hear, everything we listen to, and everything that we feel creates an energetic imprint on every cell in our body, and we have trillions of cells. So why is it important to know that? Well, I believe it's important to know that because the quality of what we're imprinting, the quality of what we're seeing, what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what we're speaking, the quality of that determines the quality of the energetic structure of our cells and therefore of our body and therefore of our health. So And this is a scientific. You can check this out scientifically. This is actually what happens. There is a response to everything that we experience by each one of our cells. So the reason I believe it's important is because the quality of what we're thinking, seeing, feeling, etc., determines the quality of each one of our cells and therefore our health, as I said before. So what actually happens is, if we're seeing something that is, like if we're perhaps reading something, if we're in a situation and we're observing something, if we're watching a movie, even the way we look at ourselves, we look in the mirror, and how we feel about that image, and how we look at other people, how we think and feel about other people, how we think and feel about ourselves. If that is a feeling or a thought of expansion, meaning if that is a peaceful feeling, a happy feeling, a good feeling, an uplifting feeling, that then will expand that imprints on the cells in our body. And it produces good feeling hormones. So the good feelings that we have, the good feelings that we have, the good feeling thoughts that we have, the good feeling things that we see, hear and speak, have a good feeling effect on our body, as in health and wellness. So what happens when we think and feel those things is that the hormones, the good feeling hormones and the health enhancing hormones of serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, all of the good feeling hormones are released into our body, boosting our immune system, so creating better health. And if we're in better health, we're happier, and then that creates a cycle. If we're happier, we're in better health. And conversely, the opposite happens if we're thinking, seeing, hearing, speaking things that cause conflict within us, things that make us angry, things that make us resentful, or our reaction to the things that we see is resentment, anger, jealousy, any of the so-called negative types of feelings, they then produce a contracting effect on every cell in our body. And when there is contraction, so if we can imagine trillions of cells contracting all at the same time in our body, then everything is in a state of stress. Because we're contracted, we're in a state of stress, so all the good feeling stuff can't get through, and neither is it produced very much. On the opposite side, we are producing more adrenaline, more cortisol, which are, over a long period of time, are depleting to our immune system and depleting to our health. So what I'm saying doesn't mean that every time we see something that upsets us, we're going to go into shutdown and all that, and everything's going to, well, all the cells will contract. But this may not be obvious to us, because the human body and the human psyche and all of our humanness is designed for survival, to carry on, to keep going. But it's not going at a health producing rate, if that makes any sense, when we're in those states. Now, I know that just by being in life and being in this physical body, there are going to be many times throughout the day, even throughout every day, where we're not going to feel on top of the world. And we don't have to feel on top of the world. We don't have to be like ecstatically happy. It's just a level of peace that is important to attain most of the time. And the thing is that last week I spoke about having the awareness to know that our body is speaking to us, and the awareness to know what is it saying. Likewise, the opposite applies as well. We need to have the awareness that when we're in this state of contraction, be that unhappiness, sadness, that is part of being human. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong about that. What I'm saying is that over a long period of time, to be in that constant state of contraction for whatever the reason is, and that state of thinking that everything is bad around us, the world's in a terrible state and all of that kind of stuff, and having that kind of attitude and that kind of feeling and lack of peace within us constantly, and this can go on, well, not just days, it can go on for weeks and even years, for things that we may not even be aware of that we're feeling that way. It could be something happened with someone in our life years ago, made us very angry, it hurt us, and we carry around that hurt within us and that anger within us, but we think we've dealt with it because we're not feeling it. So what I'm saying is, sure, we're human and stuff happens, but it's really important to have the awareness of what we're actually communicating to our body. So we know how powerful the mind is. We know how powerful, I think most of us know in the so-called negative sense, how positive our mind, how powerful our mind can be, much more than we believe it in the positive sense of the word. So for example, think about people that are, say hypochondriacs, for example. There's no judgment here. There's reasons why they are like that. But just by thinking they have a certain illness and finding all this backup information about why they might have that kind of illness, they actually convince themselves that they do. Likewise, we can think about the, and they do then manifest that illness. Likewise, we can think about the placebo effect, which has been proven many, many times medically and scientifically. That if the mind believes that this pill that we're taking is going to cure whatever it is that we've got, then in most cases it happens. So that's how powerful the mind is. So what I'm saying is, it's so important to be aware of the state of our mind, the state of our feelings, what we put into our body, because our body will respond to everything that we say, think, do, feel, see and hear. It is within our control and within our management to be aware of the quality of those things going into our body. And that's easy for me to say all this stuff. So how can we do this? Because most of us are busy, we go along our busy day, we don't really know. Often we're not even aware of what's been going on with us. We just know we don't feel that great, we feel really tired, we feel irritable, and then we go to bed and we get up and it starts all over again. So in order to have this awareness, when we're caught up in a busy, if this is new thinking to us, to any of you out there, generally it can go on for always without being aware. So it's about making a commitment to bring awareness to your day and to your body and to your life. And how we do that, well, one of the ways that we can do that, well, I believe that really we can't, if we want to implement something new in our life, like, for example, bringing awareness to the thoughts we think, to what we read, to what we see, to what our body, how our body is responding to us, then we need to do something different than we were doing before. It's not just going to automatically happen, I don't believe. It's the analogy, like if we keep doing the same thing, then we're going to get the same response. So if we want a different response, then we need to do something different. Now this can be, and so applying it to what I've been saying today, it can be very simple, 10 minutes every day. And it's about making a commitment to our own health, to our own happiness, to our own level of energy, and to the quality of our life and our living. And as we do that, that then spreads forth and expands into the quality of energy that we bring to other people's lives all around us. So making a commitment, one way could be make a commitment that every day you will spend 10 minutes in quiet reflection. And this could be in the evening before you go to sleep. It could be just going through all the things that happened in the day. You could start like from the last thing that happened before you went to bed and work your way down, but spending a few moments with each thing and remembering how you felt. That is key. It's the feeling. It's the feeling which is the energy which causes the response. So going through each thing and remembering how we felt in those instances, and remembering if we were pleased with ourselves, if we thought we could have done better, just generally how we were feeling, and are we happy with that? Are we happy with how we felt? Now, this is not about beating ourselves up, and it's not about judging ourselves or anyone else. It's about, okay, so I felt really stressed about this thing, but at the end of the day, how did the stress help me? Did it help me? Probably not. So I will resolve that tomorrow, if I'm feeling stressed, I will stop, I will take a deep breath, and I'll breathe out that stress as much as I can. So doing this kind of thing, it could be that you didn't handle a situation very well, that you thought you didn't handle it very well with the person during the day, and you can make a resolution that, okay, when I deal with this person again, I'm going to do things differently and I'm going to improve on how I was with that person. It can be that you can make it work simply by doing this kind of thing every single night and making a commitment that tomorrow you can be at least 1% better in the way you looked after yourself and in the way you were with other people. What I have found is this takes commitment, it takes dedication. What I found for me is that all my years of meditation, because in order to do that, we have to still our mind. In order to actually go through stuff and remember how we felt and all of that kind of thing, we need to actually quiet the mind and let those things come up in our heart so that we can look at them. And that can be very difficult for some. So for me, all my years of meditation, all my years in training in meditation and in doing and teaching meditation, for me this comes now automatically. I can catch myself, not saying that I don't do those things I was saying about not being as good as I thought I could be in certain situations, or that I don't get stressed. Yes, I do. But it doesn't happen very often, and when it does happen, I can catch myself very quickly and I can change the way I'm being. I can take a breath, let that go, and think, how else could I see this? How else could I look at this situation? How else could I be in this situation? Now, I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying to impress upon you that it can be done, and for me, meditation works the best. I'd really encourage you to try the meditation, and if you would like, and again, it's a thing that needs to be learned, and a thing that needs to be learned and experienced, and that takes commitment. It needs to be a choice on your part to do that. So if anybody would like to know more about that, how they could do that, or would like to be taught, please feel free to contact me. I've been teaching meditation amongst lots of other things for many years, and I have found it to be most beneficial to my life and my well-being, simply by the fact of, as much as possible, having a fairly peaceful state of mind and being. And when I don't stay there very long, because in the drama and the stress very long, because that's when the damage occurs to our immune system, is when we're in those situations for long periods of time. And then when we get used to that and think we're not in those situations, then we raise a bar and become even more stressed. That's when people get really, really sick over having those sorts of conflicts going on in the body over a long period of time. So I hope that this has made sense for you and that it has been helpful. And even remembering that our body is listening to us with every thought we think, every word we speak, everything we see, we hear, everything we take into our minds and into our bodies. Even in relation to food, the food that we put into our bodies. If we're putting food into our bodies that we know is not going to be okay for us, in fact it's going to be quite damaging for us, but we still do it, then we're giving our body the message that we don't really care about our body. You know, and I feel that gratitude for our body and all that it does for us is one of the most important things that we can do, the feeling of gratitude for our body, and working with our body. And not against it. Again, there's no judgment or criticism. It's simply about awareness and how we can bring this awareness into our life. So again, if you would like more information about that or more assistance with that, please contact me. And if this video resonated with you, if you enjoyed it and you know someone that it could be helpful for, please like and share, because the more that we can get these sorts of messages out there, the better our world's going to be, and much quicker our world will be the more we get these messages out. Okay, as always, let's love ourselves enough to do this. Thank you for your time. Much love, and ciao for now.